just gotta run. And ain't nobody gonna hold you. And everybody needs someone. Don't try to go along. Don't say I never told you. When you wake up tomorrow and your heart ain't feeling right, I'd love to steal up all of them, say goodbye to pain and sorrow every day and every night.
All right, guys, I'm still kind of new to this, so once you can see me, let me know. I mean, I don't know when she's going to cash it in. It's just it's a matter of when the best time. Lifting him up in powerbomb position, yeah, that's not going to make the blood. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Good Mic Work peeking in at you real quick.
This is living don't come easy.
That's the crown jewel of the box. But let me tell you, I had the time of my life. AEW Double or Nothing 2022 was a kick-ass time. My experience at this past Wednesday's AEW Dynamite live from the Kia Forum. AEW Dynamite right here live in the city that I live in. Chris Jericho, Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea Part 2, the second wave. Vince McMahon is gone from the WWE forever. Why does he get booed? Because he's a piece of shit. CM Punk has quit the WWE. CM Punk has been fired from AEW. I think I'm wrong. Oh my God! Oh my God! What? Here he is. There we go. Lights are out. Oh my God! There's an Alabama slam him through the ladder. Oh God! Oh my God! Oh no! Oh dear! And host of Wrestling with Regret on YouTube, the one and only Brian Zane. How you doing, Mr. Influencer? The best podcaster in the game today. Jason Solomon, the Solomonster. Great guy in the community. Steve, thank you so much for being here and welcome to my channel. As the wrestling world lost Bray Wyatt, unexpectedly died, we just looked at each other. He said, died? Owen Hart died? The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, has passed away. Rowdy Roddy Piper has passed away. Bobby the Brain Heenan has passed away. Vader passed away apparently on Monday, June 18th. The Ultimate Warrior has passed away. Harley Race has passed away at age 76. Mean Gene Okerlund has passed away at age 76. Legendary WWE ring announcer Howard Finkel passed away today at age 69. Chyna, real name Joni Lauer, was found dead. We learned of the passing of Psycho Sid Vicious. The legendary Terry Funk passed away. And for those who don't know, Jay Briscoe, Jamin Pugh, aka Jay Briscoe, was involved in a fatal car crash this past Tuesday in Laurel, Delaware. Hey yo, Scott Hall has passed away.
And this darkness before light, find somebody and get together, make love last forever, every day and every night.
You are watching Good Mic Work Commentaries.
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 Good Mic Work Commentaries. Good Mic Work Commentaries.
Check out Good Mic Work Commentaries on YouTube.
Good Mic Work on YouTube.
For the very best wrestling content, you better come to Good Mic Work Commentaries.
Greg seems to get it and seems to speak at an appropriate volume level, and that's one of the best compliments I can pay such a fine man.
So it's sad, but it's true. And it can get the best of anyone. This loneliness won't get you through. You're gonna need to find a
That is one of the biggest motivations for me to keep doing this, is because, you know, a lot of people have reached out and said, your content helps me. That might sound crazy to me, that me flapping my gums about wrestling helps somebody, but it does. I don't take that lightly. That's a responsibility, you know, that I want to be here. You know, when I say I'm going to be here and I commit to a schedule, I want to be here.
every day and every night.
First and foremost, I just want to say one thing up front to all of you right now. Thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys have completely changed my life. As April 11th, 2025 marks 15 years, count them, of me doing YouTube. Something that started out on a whim, in a completely different state, in a completely different chapter of my life, has become a huge part of my life and has allowed me to talk about wrestling with you guys as a job. Now, I might not have achieved my ultimate goal of doing this full time, but the fact that I'm able to balance this with a relatively easy career has allowed me to really live my best life. Now, today's video is just me coming up here completely noteless. I got no notes. I'm just freestyling some comments here from the heart. The real celebration will be tomorrow night, actually. Big Saturday night podcast planned, where we'll crack some cold ones and have a good time. But since today is the actual anniversary, I wanted to come up and give you guys some thoughts and, of course, post my cheesy and corny video package. I hope you liked it. And talk about the last 15 years a little bit. Now, many of you have been with me for many, many years. Some of you from the very beginning, but a good portion of you have probably been with me as a subscriber for over 10 years. So I apologize if anything I say here sounds a little bit repetitive. You've heard the origin story of GoodMicWork and this channel before, several times before, in various Q&As and podcasts and interviews that I've done. I've told this story a million times, but over the past couple of years, I have some friends and family that now know I do this, that did not know I did it before. They may have never heard me tell the story of how I got started here on YouTube. So we're just going to kind of reminisce to back in the day and talk about how this channel has grown, because you guys have watched this channel grow and evolve. You guys have watched me grow and evolve. I've watched myself grow and evolve. I was 32 years old when I started doing this. I'll be 48 this year. I would kill to be 32 again. So I've changed. You guys have changed. Now, how did this channel get started? I've told that story a million times. It was the late 2000s. I think it was 2008 or 2009. Pretty sure it was 2009 when I started kind of surfing around the web a little bit more. YouTube was about 4 or 5 years old by this point, and I remember being on YouTube and noticing that a lot of wrestling content was on YouTube. People were posting videos from their own collection, TV episodes, matches, interviews, anything you can imagine. And from someone like me who came through the tape trader era, that was pretty mind-blowing. Even in 2009, when not a whole lot was going on YouTube yet, that was still really mind-blowing that there was just wrestling footage floating around the internet for free. So I decided to make a YouTube account with no intention of posting any videos. That was never my intent. I just wanted to create an account. That way, if I saw a video that I liked, I could save it, make playlists out of it, things like that. And that was really my only point. So when I decided to do that, I needed a name for the channel. And I was thinking to myself, what could I call the channel that would have like a wrestling type of name, but no one would know it's a wrestling name? And at the time, I was watching a lot of classic promos and a lot of classic interviews, and that was just what was going on in my wrestling consumption at the time. I was just watching a ton of interviews just for that week or something, just a couple of weeks there where I was watching a lot of promos, and I was looking at all of these wrestlers with good mic work. And I was like, there you go, GoodMicWork. And that's how the channel name came to be. Now, I think if I would have known that I was going to come up here and create content and this channel would survive for 15 years, I might have came up with a different name, because GoodMicWork just sounds like I sell microphones or something. So that was the name I came up with. It stuck. And then I eventually kind of renamed it GoodMicWork Commentaries. And I've told the story of how I posted my first video. I had already had my YouTube account for about a year, maybe longer than a year, less than a year, but about a year. It was the beginning of 2010. I had just left a very, very demanding job that I was at for about 10 years because I was planning a move west. I was going to move to the west coast of California. I left my job and spent the summer kind of planning my trip out here, which left me with a lot of free time. And around the same time, my ex-wife at the time came home one day randomly and said, hey, let's go get some iPhones. Because at the time, I think we both had like Blackberries, and iPhones had been around for a while. And she was like, you want to just go switch our plans and go over to AT&T and get some iPhones? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I don't care. Let's go get some iPhones, whatever. So we went and got iPhones. About a week after that, I break one of my toes. And I've broken a lot of toes. It's just one of my injuries that I seem to have. And I was laid up with a completely shattered pinky. And I remember just laying on the couch and I was looking at the new iPhone. I'd only had it for a few days, kind of going through the features and trying to figure this thing out. And I realized it had a microphone. It had a voice recorder. And I'm like, huh, that's kind of cool. Well, around the same time, I'm on YouTube doing my wrestling surfing, and then I come across something that I had not seen before. Fans, people, dudes like me, sitting in front of a camera or speaking into a microphone about wrestling and putting it on YouTube. And I have no idea who I watched or what I saw. All I know is I wasn't impressed. The couple of dudes that I saw talking about wrestling kind of had an attitude, and none of them knew what the hell they were talking about. And at the time, I considered myself a pretty knowledgeable fan. I had already been through a lot at age 32. And I just thought to myself, maybe I should try that. I could be better than those guys. Well, also around that same time, TNA had decided to run head-to-head with Monday Night Raw. And as I started to look more and more into these YouTube videos of fans talking about wrestling, one thing that I was noticing in the comments was that people were very, very anti-WWE and very pro-TNA. Great, I got no problem with that until I see how crazy some fans can be. And there was all of a sudden this army of people who were insisting that TNA is a better product and that TNA is going to put WWE out of business and WWE is garbage and TNA is great and blah, 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 blah. Sounds familiar, right? And what did I do? I let myself get caught up in it and fell victim to what I lecture fans about doing now. Don't let these fans get to you. Don't let them affect how you feel about another wrestling promotion. Why do I say that? Because I let it affect me. And TNA still was not really for me. I didn't really love their vibe. I had just, come off a few great eras in WWE. The glory days of the Attitude Era were gone. I was going to shows and living and breathing that era. So nothing that I was going to see in the mid-2000s or the early 2010s was really going to impress me. I appreciated that the fans had an alternative because wrestling desperately needed that. But even as strong as they ever got, they never really stood a chance of toppling the giant. And that was where most of my message lied, because I'm like, look, fans, it's cool for you to like that company, but let's not bullshit yourself into thinking that they're going to destroy the WWE. What we need to hope for as fans is that we always have a strong alternative, that we always have a strong number two. And for close to 20 years, we did not have that. And that was kind of how my video making started, was I wanted to respond to fans that annoyed me. I got suckered into what so many other fans get suckered into today. And that's why whenever I go off on little tangents or rants about how fans need to do better about appreciating pro wrestling instead of fighting with each other and picking sides and being tribal, I have that message because I learned from my own mistakes. And that's always the message I try to convey. Let's try to move past the negativity and the arguing and the button heads and try to be wrestling fans together. And for about the last 10 years, that's really been the strong message on my channel. I mean, thinking back to some of those older videos is pretty funny because back then I didn't know what I was doing. I was just hitting the record button and speaking. I had no idea about video uploading or editing or proper audio, proper video, proper production in general. It was very, very bare bones, very, very primitive, but it's how I started. And I'm pretty much self-taught. 15 years ago, I didn't even know what a hard drive was. Now I have 10 terabytes filled with nothing but good mic work material over the past 15 years. I've overflowed into a second 10 terabyte hard drive just with stuff from this channel alone. I've taught myself how to edit. I've taught myself how to Photoshop. I've taught myself how to record, how to live stream, how to do everything. Back in those early days, I was just doing this as a hobby. Sometimes I would take 6 to 8 weeks off, not post any video at all. I would just kind of come up here when I felt like it. So even though this channel is 15 years old, I really only feel like it's 10 years old because it was 2015. It was the summer of 2015 when I finally turned on monetization. I wasn't making a dollar off of anything for the first 5 years. And that's also when I started the website and started posting my YouTube videos in podcast form over on the podcast sites. And that was the year 2015 when I told myself, okay, this is a big deal now. You're starting to get a following. You're getting good views. You can make some money off this. This now needs to be a job. So even though this channel is 15 years old, I feel like the real channel is only 10. 2015 until now has been the time period where I've taken it the most seriously. Those first 5 years, 2010 to 2015, I honestly thought I could quit at any time. But once 2015 arrived, I realized that I should really give this a go. And then, of course, from 2015 to 2017, we were still plugging along, doing my commentaries, but all of these years, I had been doing things off camera. I never really showed my face before because I didn't even have a webcam. I didn't even know how to live stream. All I knew how to do was record and then edit my stuff to put up on YouTube. And then finally, I realized everybody's doing live streaming. Why don't I live stream? I should get a camera. So I finally, after 7 years, bought a webcam and turned it on. And I think it was late 2017, I did my first live stream, like in November, from my old apartment. It was just me and my kitchen behind me. And the live streams have been evolving into podcasts, into watch-alongs, into Q&As, everything we've done. It's been so fun to be live with you guys on camera where I can talk to you in real time in the chat. And that has been a game changer for the channel. Years ago when we were doing the Raw watch-alongs, those were really upping our subscribers. We're up to 43,000 subscribers. I personally feel like I should have over 100,000 by now, but things have happened throughout the years, algorithm changes, adpocalypses, and, just for whatever reason, this channel hasn't been able to grow the way I've really wanted it to, but I'm still very proud. 43,000 subscribers is nothing to shake a stick at. Everybody that I've spoken to, my family, my friends who know I do this, they are impressed as all hell, where I'm a little bit let down. I've always felt like I should have more subscribers, but I can still feel that way while being extremely grateful that I have the audience and the subscribers that I have. Think about all of the WrestleManias, the SummerSlams, the Royal Rumbles, the AEW shows, the unfortunate deaths that we've witnessed together, the big moments, the blockbuster news stories, all of the craziness that has gone on in wrestling over the past 15 years, we've gone through it all together. Whether it be here or on social media or whatever, we have all experienced this stuff together. And whenever anything big happens in pro wrestling between 2010 and 2025, the very first place I go to talk about it is with all of you. And there's lots of people out there. There's great people in this community. There's also not so great people. But there are some awesome people that sit in front of a camera and talk about wrestling all of the time. You guys have got amazing choices out there on YouTube. It's been so long now, I legitimately feel like I'm kind of one of the OGs at this point. But there are great content creators out there, many of which I'm friends with, and you guys have options galore. So the fact that you still come to me every week for Raw reviews, for pay-per-view watch-alongs, for my podcasts, and you're here every week like clockwork when you've got a lot of other competition out there. That makes me so unbelievably grateful because there are some great people out there and you're choosing me. So I just want you to know none of that ever goes unnoticed, especially if I'm up live after a pay-per-view when every single YouTuber in the world is also live and I've got a good audience. That touches my heart, y'all. It really does. So that's all today's video is about. Just to come up here and say thank you. Thank you for a great 15 years. Thank you for sticking with me when I didn't know what the hell I was doing, all the way up until now where I feel like I'm a pretty seasoned content creator. I know what I'm doing now. I didn't before. So you guys were patient with me, watching my silly videos, watching me kind of learn how to edit in real time, playing around with things, doing stuff. Some of the early days of the channel, I had a lot of videos taken down because I was using copyrighted footage and things like that. And some of my early commentaries, aren't available anymore either for that very reason. Now, one day I'll break out my first ever commentary and we'll watch it together. I just watched it yesterday. It's atrocious. I thought about including it in here. We're going to save that for a special video for another day, maybe a members only, where we'll sit down, listen to the video, and we will critique it bit by bit. But I'm going to warn you, it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for some of the things I said in that. But that's how you grow. That's how you evolve. All I was doing was shitting on TNA. I wasn't being a crazy person or anything. It was just a lot of what I was saying, I don't agree with those philosophies anymore because we all change and grow as people. And what you used to think 15 years ago, you might not think now. And I've heard that from so many of you, especially the younger audience. Greg, started watching you in 8th grade. I'm married now. I get that message more frequently than you think. So that's kind of awesome to me that we've all grown together. We've grown together. And in terms of the future of this channel, man, I don't want to stop. There's no reason to. You guys are still here every week. Channel's bringing in revenue. Subscribers are ticking up at a snail's pace right now, but that'll pick back up. We've gone through ebbs and flows for years on this channel. We know how it goes. Sometimes things are really, really rocking. Sometimes they're stagnant. But one thing that's never happened is we've never declined. We've never lost subscribers. We have always, even if it's slowly, ticked in the upward direction, no matter what. And that's something that I really appreciate because a lot of channels can't say that. And ironically, I started this YouTube channel when I was the least interested in wrestling. From the years 2003 to 2010, I was watching, but it was more like eyeballing it. I had a lot going on. I had a career. I had a big job. I had relationships. I had friends. I was young. I was partying. I was having a good time. I was enjoying life. So wrestling, since the Attitude Era was gone and over, and that's what I remembered the most fondly, I'm now in this weird transition period in the mid-2000s where I'm watching, but not really. If I missed a Raw or a SmackDown, I wouldn't care. If I missed a pay-per-view, I wouldn't care. And I basically just kind of kept an eye on the biz. Watched all the WrestleManias, watched all the SummerSlams, but the rest of it, I kind of just eyeballed until, like I said, 2010 rolled around and I started making YouTube videos, which forced me to pay attention a little bit more. And then once we got into 2015 and I was fully ingrained in this, then, I've been balls deep in pro wrestling ever since. So my whole life over the past 47 years, I've only had about a 5 or 6 year gap in the mid 2000s where my interest went from 100% to about 61%, somewhere in there. And that's about the percent of attention I was paying at the time. And despite some of the bad years we've had in pro wrestling, over the past, 10 or so years, and even though we've had a lot of really crappy content to review, all of it has been fun. It's never not been fun. If it ever wasn't fun, like I said, I wouldn't be up here doing this. So I just want to thank you guys for a hell of a run. It's been a hell of a run. I ain't stopping. I'm not stopping. Why am I going to stop? The older I get, the more time I'm going to be spending inside my house. So trust me, the more years go by, the more of a homebody I will become. It's been a lot of fun, guys. It really has. I'm a huge wrestling YouTube dork and nerd, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. So thank you again, once again, from the bottom of my heart for all of these years of support. Thank you for just hanging out and listening to me flap my gums today. I don't even know what I said. When I edit this, I'm probably gonna be like, oh my God, what the hell am I talking about? But I just wanted to turn the camera on, say a few words to commemorate the 15-year anniversary of the channel, and give you guys a reminder to hang out with us tomorrow night for a big podcast. We'll do a Q&A. We'll talk about the week's wrestling news, wrestling results, that type of thing. And we're going to be back on Sunday night for a WrestleMania 12 watch along. We're going to watch the Iron Man match between Brett and Shawn on Sunday night. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you again for all of your support. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And thank you for sitting through this video. Have a good rest of your Friday, and I'll be catching you tomorrow night for the podcast. Peace.